Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to homicide detail. A young man walks into your office and tells you he wants to give himself up. You don't know if you can believe his story. Your job? Check it out.
It was Monday, December 10th. It was cold in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of homicide detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Lorman. My name's Friday. We were on our way back from records and identification, and it was 11:15 a.m. when we got to room 42, the squad room.
Joe?
Yeah, Danny.
Kid waiting to see you.
Did he say what he wanted?
No, said he wanted to talk to you, nobody else.
Did he give a name?
No, nice-looking kid.
All right, we'll talk to him.
Be right with it, Joe. I'll check the book.
All right. All right, do you want to see me?
You Sergeant Friday?
That's right. What can I do for you?
I want to talk to you.
Nothing in the book, Joe.
What's your name, son?
Emil Salter.
Emil, this is my partner, Frank Smith.
Hello, Mr. Smith.
Hi, son.
Why'd you ask for me?
Well, they told me to.
Who's that?
The men in that room across the hall, the business office.
Oh, I see.
I sure hope you can help me, Sergeant Friday. I'm in trouble. Real bad.
All right. So I'll sit down here and you can tell us about it. Go ahead.
Well, one thing, you should know I came in to give myself up.
Is that right?
I didn't mean to do wrong.
All right, what'd you do?
Killed a man.
Emil Charles Salter was 18 years old, 5 feet 7.5, 137 pounds. He had light blonde hair and blue eyes. He was wearing a tan windbreaker and tan pants. He looked tired, and he told us that he hadn't eaten in several hours. We sent out for some hot coffee and sandwiches. Frank checked his name and description through R&I, but he found that he had no record in our files. We asked him to tell us the story.
Do you know the man you killed?
No, I never saw him before.
Well, how'd you kill him?
Ran him down.
In a car?
No, a truck.
Well, where'd this happen?
Coast Highway near Malibu. Just this side.
When?
Last night. I guess it must have been around 10. It should have been around then because I left town at 8:30. It took about an hour and a half to drive up there.
Now, you sure the man was dead?
Yeah, I looked at him. It wasn't hard to tell.
Did you try to help him at all?
No. As soon as I looked at him, I knew there wasn't anything I could do. I just got back in the truck and took off.
Where's the truck now?
I left it. Just the other side of Malibu. It broke down, so I left it.
Mm-hmm.
When it stopped, I sat there for a while. Tried to think why I was hung up in something like this. Tried to figure why. Didn't come, so I got out and started to walk.
Uh-huh.
All the time I was thinking about the man. I could almost see him. Guess it got to me, so I came back, caught a ride, and came back.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Joe, here's the food.
Oh, thanks, Danny. What do we owe you?
Come to $1.60.
Wait a minute. You got 15 cents, Frank?
Oh, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, here, Danny.
Thanks. A couple cartons in there, black.
Right, thank you. All right, here, Emil. Help yourself.
Thank you. Sure hungry. I haven't had anything to eat since last night.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to tell us about the truck?
Yeah.
Where'd you get it?
I stole it. That's wrong, too, I know. Everything I do seems to be wrong.
Where'd you take it from, son?
Parking lot near where I used to live.
Where's that?
A rooming house on 9th Street near Figueroa.
Can you show us where the truck is now?
I guess so. I don't think anybody could move it. Broke down, like I said.
Where you from, Emil?
Waukesha, Wisconsin. It's a small city near Milwaukee. Maybe you've heard of it.
No, I can't say I have.
Got good water. Springs and wells. Real fine. Manufacture things, too. Motors, jacks, lots of things.
Mm-hmm.
Sure is a nice little place.
How come you left there?
Lots of reasons.
In trouble?
Yeah. In a way, nothing serious. It was lots of things. You know, at home. I don't know just how to say it.
You ever been arrested?
No. Well, not booked or anything. Cops took me in a couple of times.
What for?
Little things. Like one night we broke in a church. Didn't go in to steal anything. One of the guys just wanted to play the organ.
Mm-hmm. Your parents alive?
Yeah.
When'd you leave home?
Last July. I thought about it for a long time. Figured I might have a better chance where nobody knew me. Looks like it didn't make any difference.
When'd you get here?
Last part of July. Sure was different than Waukesha.
What do you mean by that?
Well, it's so big. Then I didn't know anyone. Pretty lonesome at first. And then I got lucky.
Yeah?
I got this job. Nothing important, just washing dishes at this cafe. I get $25 a week in food.
Yeah.
Got a little money ahead, bought some clothes. Not real fancy, but they were new and they give me a lift. You know.
Sure.
Had a nice room, too. Clean, handy to work. Thought I had it made. Then the axe fell.
How do you mean?
I got sick. Couldn't get out of bed one morning. The landlord called a doctor. He said I had rheumatic fever.
Yeah?
The doctor called for an ambulance, and they took me to General Hospital.
Uh-huh.
Things are bad enough when you feel good. I was in the hospital, and I didn't feel like nothing.
You remember the doctor's name?
No, sir, I don't.
How long were you in the hospital?
3 days.
They discharged you in 3 days, did they?
No, sir, I ran away.
Why?
Well, the Travelers' Aid Society said that they were going to send me back home. I didn't want that, so I ducked out.
Mm-hmm.
I went back to my room. I got a couple of bucks I had hid and left.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't have any idea what I was going to do, but I didn't want to be sent back to Wisconsin.
That's when you stole the truck, huh?
Yeah, looked like a way out of town.
Uh-huh.
The whole thing doesn't seem like it really happened. You know how when you're half asleep and the radio's on, the things come through, but they're not real clear.
Yeah.
Like that. I remember riding in the truck after I hit the man, trying to think what I was going to do, how I was alone.
Mm-hmm.
Story of my life. Seems like I was always alone. Sure was last night. I don't know. I guess I never do anything right, do I? Guess I just don't have the nerve.
You did this time.
Hmm?
You came here, didn't you? We put in a call to accident records and verified Emil Salter's story. The body of a man identified as Lloyd Holtman, transient, had been found by officers of the Highway Patrol. Holtman had apparently been struck by a vehicle traveling at high speed as he walked along the road. We checked with Lieutenant Lee Jones at the crime lab, and we found that his division had made an investigation. Frank and I left the office and went over to see him. He showed us pictures taken at the scene. On the victim's coat, the lab crew had been able to find traces of blue paint. Jones was not able to tell us what type of vehicle had hit the victim, but he did say that from the high rate of speed at the time of impact, there would be extensive damage to the front end of the vehicle. Emil Salter was booked on charges of violation of Section 480 V.C., a felony. Frank and I checked him out of the main jail and drove out to where he'd left the truck. He told us to drive up Highway 101. When we got past the Malibu colony, he directed us to turn off onto a dirt road. We drove about 200 yards, and then he asked us to stop.
You sure this is where you left the truck?
Yeah, just over there, behind those trees. When the engine started acting up, I looked for a place to park. Figured it'd be better if I got off the road. There it is. You can see it now.
Uh-huh. This is the same one you stole last night, is it?
Yes, sir. It's the one I was driving.
I'll check the front end.
Yeah. Did you have anything to drink last night?
No, I had enough of that at home.
Mm-hmm. You're sure this is the truck you had when you hit that fellow?
Yeah, I'm sure. I don't know what all the questions are about. I said I did it. I'm not trying to hide anything.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing up there, Joe. Front end's clean.
Well, it doesn't make a lot of sense, does it?
No.
I don't understand what the problem is.
Well, what you tell us doesn't add up with the evidence here.
What do you mean?
Well, the report we got says that the man was killed by a blue vehicle.
Uh-huh.
Now, take a look at that truck, will you?
Yeah?
Black. We put in a call to the office, and we asked them to send the tow truck out and impound the vehicle. We stood by until they arrived. Frank and I drove Emil Salter to the scene of the accident. He pointed it out for us. According to the information we'd gotten, the location he gave us was the place where Lloyd Holtman had been found. We checked the area, but we failed to come up with anything new. 5:20 p.m., we returned the suspect to the main jail, and we went back to the office. We sent a radiogram to the authorities in Waukesha asking for all available information on Salter. At 6:47 p.m., we checked out of the office. The next morning, December 11th, Frank and I met in the squad room.
Hi, Joe.
Morning.
See the morning papers?
Yeah, guess there isn't much news, huh?
I sure gave Salter a lot of space.
Yeah, wish we could find the answers.
I called Lee when I got in. They went over the truck. Found a lot of the kid's prints, but they didn't turn anything that'd point to an accident.
The way the body looked, there should be something on the car that ran him down, shouldn't
Excuse me.
there? Yes, sir.
I wonder if y'all could help me out?
Well, we'll try, sir. Come on in. What is it you want?
Well, that there kid in the paper?
Sir?
You know, a young kid that ran down the old bum, emo something?
Salter.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, what do you know about it?
Well, just take it easy now. A couple of things I gotta be sure of before I tell you anything.
All right, what's that?
Well, I ain't gonna get mixed up in nothing.
We can't promise you that till we heard what you got to tell.
Now, I'm wasting my time. Bye.
All right, just a minute.
Huh?
Maybe I better straighten you out, mister.
On what?
Well, this kid's sitting in jail right now. He's got a pretty serious charge against him.
I didn't make it.
Yes, sir, that might be true, but I better tell you this. If you know anything about a felony that's been committed, and you withhold that information, you're liable for prosecution as an accessory. Do you know that?
That's the law?
Those are the words. Now, the only thing we're interested in is getting the case off the books. We're not going to give your name to the papers.
That's a promise?
That's a promise.
Okay. I told you it'd be pretty bad for me if any of what I tell you gets back to my family.
All right. Now, what's your name?
Lone States.
That's Loren?
Yeah.
You want to sit down?
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Now, what do you know about this?
That emo kid, he ain't guilty.
How's that?
He didn't do it.
How do you know?
Well, I seen the accident. Seen the whole thing.
You want to start at the beginning?
Now, you're sure none of this is going to get out?
We told you, not from us.
Okay. Well, I took a drive Saturday night up the coast. I had dinner.
Uh-huh.
Now, on the way back, I stopped and parked a while. You know, kind of looked out at the ocean.
Yeah.
Well, I was just leaving, and I saw this old guy walk along the road, bendle stiff, you know. Had a blanket roll on his back, just walking along. You know how to do.
Yes, sir.
All of a sudden, this car come roaring down the road. Thing must have been doing at least 90. Come roaring around a turn right at this old guy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, sir, the old guy saw the car coming right at him, kind of turned and started to run. Wasn't any place for him to go. It's where the road's cut right out of the mountain, you know.
Yeah, we were there, we know.
Well, I guess he figured the driver swing around him or something, so he run over the side of the pavement, trying to get out the way.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't do no good. That car plowed right into him. Must have knocked him 150 feet.
122.
Well, it seemed a lot further than that.
Mm-hmm.
Did the driver make any attempt to stop after he hit the old man?
Yeah, pulled over the side of the road. Didn't get out of the car, though.
Uh-huh.
Just stayed there a minute, then he drove off.
Yes, sir.
Well, sir, I was going to go over and see what I could do for the old fella. I really was. And then this truck drove up. Guy stopped and got out. Walked over to the fella. I figured he'd be able to take care of it, so I left.
Did you see the driver of the truck?
Yes, sir. Saw him good when he walked in front of the headlights. The same fella in the paper, that emo, what's his name?
Salter.
Yeah, Salter.
You're pretty sure it's the same man?
Yes, sir. Now, like I told you, I got a good look at him.
Mm-hmm. How about the other man? What can you tell us about him?
Not much, except he was driving too fast.
Well, how about the car? You know what kind it was?
I didn't get a good look at that.
How about the color? You notice that?
Yeah, it was a blue, kind of light color.
Can you give us any description of the driver?
No, sir.
Could you tell us if it was a man or a woman?
Oh, it was a man. I noticed that when he slowed down. He kind of leaned out the window and looked back down the road. It was a man, all right.
Could you see the color of his hair? Anything at all about him?
No, sir, there wasn't any lights up there. You know, it was dark.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't see very good. The main reason I know the driver was a man was the lights from the truck kind of picked him up, and that's when he left.
Well, all right, Mr. States. We appreciate what you've told us.
Glad to help as long as nobody's going to know. Be pretty embarrassing.
Well, how's that?
Well, so you see, me and the wife, we ain't been getting along too good. Nothing worth talking about. But a fella don't like to be nagged at, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's this little secretary in our office, and she and I talk once in a while. A couple of times we gone out for morning coffee together.
Mm-hmm.
This last beef with my wife, I figured I'd fix it good. So I asked the secretary for a date. She gave it to me. We got together Saturday night. Had dinner at a place up near Malibu.
Mm-hmm.
On the way back, we just parked and talked. Nothing wrong, mind you. But I don't guess my wife'd understand if she found out.
I see.
So you see why I don't want nobody to know about Saturday? It'd be kind of tough to explain.
Yes, sir.
Got to thinking about it, though, and what that kid, emo...
Salter.
Yeah. Got to thinking what he must be going through and decided maybe I better tell about it.
Well, sir, it's going to help him a lot.
Yep, I guess so. Oh, something else you might be able to use.
What's that?
Might not be worth anything out of state and all.
What's that?
The hit-and-run car?
Yeah.
I got the license number.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
We got the license number of the hit-and-run car. Also the fact that it carried an Illinois plate. We put out a local and an APB on it. We got in touch with the Department of Motor Vehicles back east, and we obtained the owner's name. According to their records, he had notified them that he was moving to California. They were able to supply us with a North Hollywood address for him. We checked the name through our records section, but we found nothing. At 5:20 p.m., Frank and I drove out to see him.
Yes?
Charles Bookman?
That's right.
Police officers. We'd like to talk to you.
Come on in.
Thank you. My partner, Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
Hello. Hi there, sir. I was just having dinner. You mind if I tell my wife to go ahead?
Well, we can wait if you like.
No, I'll be right back.
All right. You want to wait just a minute? Mind if we go with you?
I'm just going into the dining room.
Yes, sir, but we'll still have to be with you.
What's this about?
You own a 1954 Pontiac,
Yeah?
light blue.
That's right. Something happened to the car?
We want you to tell us, if you will.
Well, I don't know what this is all about. Seems you ought to be able to tell me.
Where is the car?
Well, I don't know.
You own a car and you don't know where it is?
That's right.
Has it been stolen?
Well, I don't know. For all I know, it could have been. I haven't seen it for a couple of days.
Well, who has it, do you know?
My brother-in-law. I let him drive it.
You don't know where he is.
No, if he smashed up the car, he's going to pay for it, though. I'm not going to be responsible.
I'm afraid he's done more than that.
I don't know. He's a real bum. My wife's kid brother can't hold a job for more than 5 minutes. All the time sponging off me.
When'd you let him take the car?
Let's see. It was Saturday morning. I told him I wouldn't be using it for a couple of days, said he could have it.
Mm-hmm.
Look, it's my car you're asking about. I got a right to know. If something's wrong, I ought to notify the insurance company.
Yes, sir, we understand. But it'd be better if we talked to your brother-in-law about it first. You want to give us his full name?
Casey Stedman.
Steadman, is that right?
That's right.
How about a description?
No problem. I think I got a picture around if you want that.
Yes, sir, it'd help.
I'll get it for you.
What were you doing over the weekend?
I was home. I'm branch manager for the company I worked for. I got an annual report I have to get out. I worked on that.
Every night?
Yep. Started it Friday night, finished it up Monday afternoon. That's one reason I let Casey take the car.
What?
To get him out of the house so I could get some work done.
Oh, I see.
But all he does is sit around and look at the TV. Starts right with the programs for kids and goes straight through the day. I think there's something wrong with his ears, too. Always got set turned up real loud. And anybody can think when he's watching a show.
Yes, sir.
I had to get him out of the house. Wife won't even let me say anything to him. She knows how important that work is, too. Sometimes I wonder if it's worth it.
Well, I wouldn't know about that, sir.
Just once. Just once. I'd like to be able to prove to my wife what a bum he is. Just once, so she really believes it.
Well, if he was driving your car Saturday night, we'll let you know.
What'll that prove?
She'll believe it then. We got a complete description of Casey Stedman along with a picture of the suspect. We went back to the office and got out a supplemental broadcast and an APB on him. A check at R&I failed to turn up any information. We talked with his friends and his known associates. None of them could tell us where he was. None of them had seen him since the accident. Wednesday, December 12th, we got a call from one of the larger garages in the city. Yes, sir, that's right. Mm-hmm. When did he call you? I see. All right, we'll be right over. No, if he does, will you try to stall him till we get there? Right. Thank you. Bye. Garage over on 6th.
Yeah.
Guy hauled a car in this morning, the front end all smashed up. Started work on it, and he thought he'd better call us.
Blue Pontiac?
That's right, stains on the fender.
Yeah.
Mechanic thinks they're blood. Frank and I left the office, and we drove over to the garage. We talked to the owner. He told us that he'd gotten a call to bring a tow truck to the corner of Main and Crocker Streets. When he got there, he met a man who asked him to tow a car to the garage and to do some repair work on the right front fender. We showed him Stedman's picture. He gave us a positive identification. We checked the car over. It was a 1954 blue Pontiac sedan. The license number was the same one that we'd gotten previously. The garage owner went on to tell us that the suspect wanted the car on Thursday night and that it was important that the repairs be made by that time. We asked that we be notified in the event the suspect made an appearance before then. We called the crime lab and we asked them to come down and go over the car. Frank and I went back to the office and we met with Captain Lorman. We told him what we'd found. He told us to be at the garage the first thing Thursday morning in the event Stedman made an early appearance. Frank and I got there at 7:30 a.m. At 4:30 in the afternoon, the suspect still hadn't shown. 4:45, 4:50 p.m.
Maybe he figures something's wrong.
Doesn't seem likely. No way for him to find out.
Think his sister tipped him?
No. Bookman said he wouldn't say anything to her about it.
Uh-huh.
Met him, Frank.
Yeah. We got a live one.
Well, let's take him. Stedman,
Yeah?
I'd like to talk to you.
Why? Do I know you?
Police officers. You on that blue Pontiac over there?
Grab him, Joe.
All right, mister. Take it easy.
Go!
I know nothing about it, nothing. I never saw the car before.
The fellow that towed it in says you're the one who called him.
And he made a mistake. Must be a lot of men who look like me. Nothing special about me.
Our crime lab's gone over the car. As soon as we roll your fingerprints, we'll be able to tell for sure.
What's that going to prove? Maybe I did drive the car. Nothing wrong with that. No law that says a man can't drive a car.
We got one that says you can't use it to kill somebody.
I didn't do that.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, you don't believe me, do you?
Nope.
That's kind of lousy, isn't it?
How do you mean that?
You walk in here, you already made up your mind I'm guilty. You call that fair?
We just got to go with the evidence, mister.
Well, you got nothing to prove I was in that car. Nothing to show that I killed anybody. Just trying to make me say I did something I don't know nothing about.
All right, come on, let's go.
You just wait. You take me to court, I'll tell the whole world about this lousy deal.
Yeah, well, I don't know about the world.
Yeah?
But we'll be there to listen. We took the suspect back down to the city hall. As soon as we had his fingerprints taken and compared with the ones found in the car, we showed him the physical evidence that we had. When it was presented, he confessed to killing Lloyd Holdman. He made a statement, and we took him over to the main jail where he was booked in on a charge of violation of Section 480 V.C., a felony. Before we left the jail, we had Emil Salter brought from his cell to one of the interview rooms. He looked like he hadn't slept for several days. Sit down, Emil.
Thanks.
How do you feel?
Not too good, Mr. Friday.
Oh, we got some news for you.
Yeah?
You didn't kill that man.
You're not lying to me.
No, we've got the guy that did it.
Oh, that's good. Since that night, all I've thought about was that man lying there. I'm glad it wasn't me.
Yeah?
You know, you still have to answer for auto theft.
Sure, I know. Funny. The reason I left home was to build something new. Here I am in jail.
Mm-hmm.
Just me, I guess. I blame my parents, my brothers, everybody. All the time it's me. There's nobody else to blame, really.
Well, you can try it again, Emil.
Yeah. But it'll probably be the same. Always on the outside looking in.
What do you mean by that?
Like back in high school. Maybe you'll think it's funny, but... Like one time I wanted to go to the junior prom. Real bad. Didn't have the right clothes. Didn't have a date. Who'd want to go out with a shrimp like me?
Well, did you ask anybody to go with you?
No, I knew better. But I went to the prom anyway.
Mm-hmm.
All by myself. No date, no nice clothes. Just old cords and a beat-up jacket. Want to know how I went?
Uh-huh.
I sat on the fire escape. Yeah, I watched the whole thing through the gym window, sitting on a fire escape. They had lanterns and stuff. Kids all dressed up real pretty. It was nice to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Saw the Grand March. Everything. Only one trouble.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was all alone. Looking in from the outside.
Well, we got to shove off, Emil.
Well, thanks for coming over.
It's all right.
See you, son.
Sure.
You want to wait here? We'll send an officer in for you.
Yes, sir. Thanks again.
Kind of nice kid, don't you think?
Yeah, guess he is.
Guess a lot of things caught up with him. Kind of gives you a funny feeling talking to him.
How do you mean that?
Well, you know how when you worked all night and you get home early in the morning?
Mm-hmm.
You're too tired to sleep and you hear a train whistle from the other side of town. Listening to that kid, I got the same sort of feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's a bad kid, not really. You think I'm wrong, Joe?
Well, I guess if you are, it makes two of us.
Yeah?
That whistle you're talking about?
Uh-huh.
I hear it every once in a while myself.
The story you have just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On April 16th, trial was held in Department 97, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. Casey Harrison Stedman was tried and convicted of violation of Section 480 of the Vehicle Code law. Violation of Section 480 V.C. is punishable by imprisonment in the state penitentiary for a period of from 1 to 5 years. Emil Donald Salter pled guilty to one count of grand theft auto. In the interests of justice, he was placed on probation for a period of 3 years.
You have just heard Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action, and starring Jack Webb, a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service. ladies and gentlemen. The story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to homicide detail. On the way back to the office, you receive a call. It's about an attempted suicide. You're in the immediate vicinity. Your job? Check it out.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Tuesday, March 24th. It was windy in Los Angeles. We were working the night watch out of homicide detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Warman. My name's Friday. We were answering an ambulance follow-up, attempted suicide. It was 11:52 p.m. when we got to 2296 Whitworth Drive. Front door.
The place is sure lit up.
Yeah. Better try it again, huh?
Yeah.
You the police?
Yes, ma'am. This is Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
Come on in.
Thank you.
He's in there to study.
Who is he?
Carl Hamlin.
Are you Mrs. Hamlin?
Yes.
Door's locked. Oh. Hamlin. Hamlin. Come on, open the door.
He has a gun. Said he was going to kill himself.
Yes, ma'am. Is there another key to this door?
No.
Want to give me a hand, Frank? We'll try to force it.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Let's try it this way. Come on.
Guess it isn't going to give.
No. There's another way into the room, ma'am.
No, this is the only door.
How about windows?
What?
Windows leading into it.
Yes, off the front porch. Came in here drunk, caused a scene.
Down this way.
Yes.
Just the window here.
Yes, it is.
Can you see anything?
No, let me have your flashlight.
Yeah, here you go.
Yeah. I can see him there on the floor.
Can't you do something? He might still be alive.
Well, the screen's locked.
You got something to cut it with?
Just a minute. Try these keys. Yeah. That's got it.
Good. Okay. Let's see if we can get the window open.
Yeah. No, I can't. I'm going to have to break this, man.
Well, I don't care as long as you get to him.
All right. I'm going to hold the light for him.
Yeah.
You better stand back, man. The glass
Hurry,
here.
please.
All
Just
right.
hurry.
Can you reach the latch from there?
Wait a minute. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I got it.
I'll give you a hand in.
All right.
Can you see if he's still alive?
Just a minute. We'll have to get into the room first, ma'am.
Watch your step there, Joe.
Yeah. All right, come on. I'll give you a hand.
All right.
Thanks. As soon as the ambulance gets here, will you show the attendant how to get in?
Yes, can you tell if he's alive yet?
No, ma'am, not yet. I want to get the door. I'll check the victim.
Yeah. How about it?
We better have the attendant look at him.
Uh-huh. Take a look at that. I wonder we couldn't force the door.
Yeah, the chair with the knob.
Locked and bolted. He must have wanted real privacy.
Looks like he's got it now.
That's the room right there.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi.
All right.
He's dead. Carl's dead.
You want to wait in there, ma'am?
I didn't think he'd really do it.
How about it?
Just a minute, huh? No, nothing. He's dead. That his wife?
Yeah.
I'm sorry to have to do this, ma'am, but there are a couple of things I've got to know.
Go ahead.
Want to give me his full name?
Carl Hamlin,
His age?
43.
Does he live here?
No. We had a house over on Bronson, 947. You have to go through all this.
No, that's all, Mrs. Hamlin. I get the rest of it later.
Frank,
Yeah.
you want to finish up here?
Sure.
It's all so wrong. Carl's dead. It's all wrong.
Yes, ma'am. Is there anything we can get for you?
No.
Do you want to go in the other room and sit down? That's better. Would you like to call your doctor for you?
I've already called him from my mother. He's on the way over.
Where's she now?
In the back bedroom. She's laying down. This whole thing's been a shock for her.
Yes, ma'am, I can understand.
When I talked to her, he said for me to give her one of the pills he prescribed. It's supposed to make her sleep.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to talk to her.
Yes, we probably will.
I hope you won't have to do it tonight. This whole thing's been a terrible shock to her. She's not too well anyway.
Well, we'll try to avoid upsetting her any further.
I'd appreciate it more than I could tell you.
All right, Miss Hamlin. A few questions we've got to ask if you feel up to answering them.
Might as well get it over with. What do you want to know?
You want to tell us what happened?
Well, Carl came over tonight, drunk. He caused a big scene.
Your husband doesn't live here, then?
No, we're separated.
I see. Who was here when the shooting took place?
A mother and myself.
Anybody else living here?
No, just the two of us.
All right. What time did Mr. Hamlin get here?
I'm not sure. I was asleep.
I beg your pardon?
I was asleep. I don't know.
I see. You weren't expecting him then?
No. Last time I saw him, I told him to leave me alone. Said I'd get a court order if I had to.
Yeah.
We've been separated about a week this time.
This isn't the first time, then?
No, there've been other times. This was the worst. I told him I was finished, that I didn't want anything more to do with him.
Mm-hmm.
He's been calling. Here, where I worked, most of the time he was drunk. Kept asking for reconciliation, saying how sorry he was and asking me to take him back.
Yeah.
I'm not blaming it all on him. I know some of it was my fault.
All right, you want to go on?
He called me this afternoon, and he had to see me. Had it all worked out so we could get back together again.
Uh-huh.
I told him I didn't want to see him. I said for him to stay away.
Yeah.
I came home and told my mother about it. Said Carl might show up, but if he did, I didn't want to see him.
All right, go on.
Kind of half expected him to show up, but he didn't. I went to bed after the 10:30 news. Mother stayed up to read.
Mm-hmm.
First I knew there was anything wrong when I heard the shot. I got up and came right downstairs. Mother was standing in front of the study door. She told me that Carl was inside, that he'd shot himself.
Uh-huh.
When I tried to call him, first I thought he was playing some kind of a joke.
Yeah.
My mother said she'd heard Carl fall down in the room. I called you right away.
Joe.
Yeah. What do you got?
DOA slip. I'll put in a call to the photo lab in the corner.
Okay.
I checked the guns, 38 revolver, one shot fired.
Well, that fits with the story I just got from his wife.
Mm-hmm. I'll make the calls. Wonder if I could use your phone, Mrs. Hamlin.
What?
Like to use your phone, please?
Oh, it's in the hall, on the table there.
Thank you.
Did your mother tell you what happened?
Yes, in a way.
Well, how do you mean that?
She's over 70, Sergeant Friday. Thing like this isn't easy to go through at that age.
I see.
Well, my mother and Carl didn't get along. He always said that she caused the trouble between us. Told me a couple of times that if she'd keep her nose out of our business, we might be able to get along.
Uh-huh. Wonder if it'd be possible for us to talk to her.
You have to.
Yes, ma'am, we do.
I'll go see.
All right, thank you.
Crew's on the way, Joe.
Going to be more policemen out here?
Yes, ma'am. We'll try to make it as brief as possible.
I'd appreciate it.
We'll do everything we can.
I'll go get my mother.
Thank you.
She gave you the story?
As much as she knew.
What do you mean?
Well, she says she wasn't in the room at the time. Her mother saw it happen.
Oh.
Did you turn anything in the other room?
Mm-mm.
As soon as we get a statement from her mother and the coroner gets here, we can shove off.
Yeah.
You can sit over here, Mother.
Yes, dear.
These men want to ask you some questions. This is my mother, Mrs. Gaylor. Sergeant Friday. This is Officer Smith.
How do you do, ma'am?
All right, ma'am.
How do you do?
We'll try to make this as brief as possible, Mrs. Gaylor. Just a couple of questions we've got to ask.
You go right ahead.
If you get tired, Mother, you tell them and they'll stop.
Yes, dear.
Now, what time did your son-in-law get here tonight?
I'm not sure. I think it was about 11:30.
Uh-huh.
Nora told me Mr. Hamlin might be coming over. But that time of night, you'd hardly expect anybody to come calling, would you?
No, ma'am.
He did. He always was doing something no one else did. I think he just sat around and tried to figure things to do that was different.
Mm-hmm.
Like tonight. Came in drunk, yelled about how he wanted to have a showdown. I didn't know what he was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Started to yell at me. Told me how the split up was my fault. Started to curse at me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 73, Mr. Friday. I've seen a lot of things. Met a lot of people. Isn't anybody who can talk to me like that. I told Mr. Hamlin. Told him to get out of the house. That's when he pulled this gun out of his pocket.
Yes, ma'am.
Had it right in his coat, the outside pocket.
I see.
I told him. I said, Mr. Hamlin, you just stop this foolishness and get out of here. That's what I said to him.
Yes, ma'am.
He just looked at me and said, yeah, you'd like that, wouldn't you? Those are the exact words. Then he told me how he's going to kill himself to show me.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was some kind of dramatics. Mr. Hamlin was that kind, you know, always play acting around.
Yes, ma'am.
Not this time. Next thing I know, he ran into the study and locked the door. After that, there was a shot, and I heard him fall down. Right then's when Nora came into the room.
All right, Miss Gaylor. I think we have all the information we need now.
Okay, if I go to bed then?
Yes, ma'am. Go right ahead.
Good night, then. You want to help me, dear?
Yes, Mother, I'll be right with you.
I'll be waiting up for you. Mr. Friday,
Yes, ma'am.
anything more you want to know about Mr. Hamlin, I'll tell you.
No, I don't think there'll be anything else, ma'am.
If there is, I'll tell you.
All right. Thank you, Miss Gaylor.
I'll be in my room, Nora.
All right, Mother, I'll be right there. She's taking this a lot better than I thought she would.
Mm-hmm. Miss Hamlin,
Yes.
did your husband ever talk about suicide before?
Yes, several times. Just this last week, I thought he was being dramatic again. I didn't pay much attention to him. It's so hard to tell if he was drunk or if he really meant something.
Mm-hmm.
All the years we were married, I don't think he was ever really serious.
You got it wrong, haven't you?
Hmm?
He was this time. 1:14 a.m. The photographer got to the house and took pictures of the room. The coroner removed the body to the county morgue, and at 2:37 a.m., Frank and I left the house. We went back to the office and filled out the 3.11.1 form, listing the death of Carl Martin Hamlin as a suicide. Frank called the coroner's office to find when we could get the results of the autopsy. They told us we'd have the necessary information late that afternoon. 3:18 a.m., we signed out of the office and went home. At 10:15 that morning, we got a call from Ray Pinker. He asked us to come right over to the crime lab.
We were running a routine check this morning. Came up with a couple of things I think you'd like to know.
All right, what do you got, Ray?
Yeah, take a look. Now, this is a bullet we fired from the gun found in the victim's hand.
Yeah.
Now, there. You can see it weighs 130 grains.
Uh-huh.
Now, this is the bullet that killed the man. Take a look.
That's all out of shape.
Mm-hmm. See anything else?
No, looks all right to me.
Yeah, what are you building, Ray?
Well, I checked this one pretty carefully. Made sure that all of it was here. You know, that none of the lead had been sheared off the bone tissue.
Yeah.
None missing. It's complete.
Yeah.
Now, take a look. Yeah, let me put this one on the scale. Now, check it yourself.
95 grains.
Yeah? 35 grains difference. Let me show you something else here. I figured the length of both bullets. They don't check out either.
What's it mean, Ray?
The bullet that killed Hamlin's a .380. It's a European calibration.
Mm-hmm.
The gun he had in his hands, a .38 revolver.
Yeah.
.380's automatic ammunition.
Yeah.
This fella Hamlin pulled a pretty neat trick.
Well, what do you mean, Ray?
He killed himself with a bullet that couldn't possibly be fired from the gun he was holding.
Something sure out of place.
Yeah. Might as well tear up the forms you filled out on this one. No suicide.
Yeah.
You gotta find a murder gun.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
11:12 a.m. Frank and I, along with Ray Pinker, left the crime lab and we drove out to see Nora Hamlin. From the physical evidence on hand, the way the door had been locked, and the fact that the windows had been bolted from the inside, it appeared unlikely that anybody could have left the room after Carl Hamlin had been shot. Yet from the information we'd gotten from Pinker, there had to be another gun involved in the killing. 11:24 a.m. We got to the house on Whitmore Drive.
Good morning. I didn't expect to see you back so soon. You want to come in?
Yes, ma'am. Miss Hamlin, this is Mr. Pinker from our crime lab. Ray, Miss Hamlin.
It's nice to know you, Mr. Pinker.
How do you do?
Are there some more questions you have to ask?
Yes, ma'am, that's right. Wonder if we could take another look at the study.
Oh, sure. Didn't the men who were here last night get what they needed?
Well, we'd just like to check it again with Mr. Pinker here.
Uh-huh. Well, you know where it is.
How's your mother feeling this morning?
Yes, she had a good sleep. The doctor gave her a sedative. She's still in bed.
We'll try not to disturb her.
Well, you go ahead with what you have to do. I'm trying to get the house in order. If there's anything you want, I'll be across the hall.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Start over here, Ray.
Mm-hmm.
This is where we found him. You can see there where we had to break the window to get in.
Mm-hmm.
Frank?
Yeah.
You got that sketch you made last night?
Yeah. Yeah, here it is. You want to take a look, Ray?
Yeah.
There you can see the body was about here.
Mm-hmm.
Over here. And the feet were about here. That's about right, isn't it, Joe?
Yeah. It was right next to the chair there.
Mm-hmm. That's the way I got it there. Just about on the perfect line between the floor lamp and the chair over there.
Mm-hmm. What about the gun?
In his right hand.
Was the gun in his hand when you found him?
Yeah, that's right. Pictures from the photo lab will bear that out.
Sure is out in left field.
How do you mean?
I talked to Doc Newbar when he sent the bullet over.
Mm-hmm.
The way he described the wound, it's pretty tough to buy that a right-handed man could shoot himself so the slug would end up where it did.
Exactly how do you mean?
Well, the bullet entered just to the right of the center of his chest. About here.
Uh-huh.
Came to rest under the right arm, here. Line of travel's way off.
Sure would have been an easier way to do it, huh?
Yeah. What about the door when you found it?
I'll show you how it was locked. Give me that chair, Frank.
Yeah. Here you go.
No. The key was turned. Bolt was thrown.
Mm-hmm.
And then this chair was propped up onto the knob like this.
Mm-hmm. How about the key? Was it still in the lock?
Yeah.
Sure looks like he meant the door to stay shut.
Yeah, we could figure that.
Place looks pretty solid. Plaster walls. Not much chance of anybody getting through them.
Mm-hmm.
You checked the bookcases?
What do you mean?
Any of them pull away from the wall?
Well, I looked at them last night. They all seem solid enough.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you got any ideas, Ray?
I don't know. The way that door looks, the rest of the room, doesn't seem likely anybody could have shot him, then gone outside and locked the door.
Think they could have come in through the window?
You had to break it.
Yeah.
The way it's set up, you shouldn't have any trouble finding the suspect.
What do you mean?
Find a butler built like an envelope.
Mighty fine.
You didn't see a shell casing around last night, did you?
Well, there wasn't any reason to look for it.
Mm-hmm. There's no sign of one now. Looks like the room's been cleaned.
Yeah. Well, I guess we better check with the Hamlin woman, huh?
And get this stuff away from the door.
Miss Hamlin. Miss Hamlin?
Oh, yes, just a minute. Something you want?
Yes, ma'am. Has anybody been in the study since we left last night?
I didn't know I wasn't supposed to. You didn't say anything about it.
Well, did you clean the room?
Yes, I told you. I was straightening up the house. I ran the vacuum in here.
Did you see an empty shell casing?
I don't know what you mean.
Well, looks like this, ma'am. See? The brass part on this bullet.
No, I didn't see anything like that.
Have you emptied your cleaner since you used it this morning?
No.
Wonder if we could see it.
Sure. I don't understand what this is all about, but if you want to see the vacuum, I'll get it.
If you want to tell me where it is, I'll get it for you.
Oh, it's no trouble. In the closet here in the hall.
Can I give you a hand with it?
It's not heavy. You want the attachments, too?
No, ma'am. Just the cleaner itself.
All right. There it is.
Mm-hmm. All right if we use a piece of this newspaper?
Sure, go ahead. I guess you know what you're doing.
This is the way you take the dust bag out?
Yeah, just flip that little catch on the side there.
Mm-hmm.
If you'll tell me what you're looking for, I might be able to help.
How about it, Ray?
Yeah. Here it is.
380?
Yeah.
What's all that mean?
Do you have another gun in the house, Miss Hamlin?
No.
You pretty sure about that?
Yes. What makes you think there might be another one?
Well, how many shots did you hear last night, Miss Hamlin?
What do you mean?
Well, just that. How many shots did you hear?
One.
You sure about that?
Yes, why?
We've got reason to believe that there were 2 shots fired.
What difference does it make how many there were?
Pretty big difference.
Why is it important? My husband killed himself. Can't be sure how many I heard. 1, 2, 3, half a dozen. What difference does it make?
Well, we'll try to explain it to you. Your husband was holding a .38 caliber revolver when we found him. But the bullet that killed him came from a .380 automatic.
I don't know what you're talking about. What are you trying to say?
Well, I think you'll understand this. Your husband didn't kill himself.
You're not serious.
Afraid we are, ma'am.
This whole thing is ridiculous.
The evidence makes it true.
Who'd kill him? Who'd have a reason?
We'd like to know that, too.
What'd you get your mother, please?
What do you want to talk to her about?
What if you get her, please?
I'm not going to have her dragged into anything. She's had enough trouble. There's no reason for you to make any more.
Don't worry about it, Nora.
Mother, you shouldn't be out of bed.
I heard the talking. I've been listening. Haven't seen you before. You policeman, too?
No, ma'am. I'm Ray Pinker.
How do you do? Jessie Gaylor, Nora's mother.
How are you?
Now, what's all this about Mr. Hamlin not killing himself?
That's right, Miss Gaylor.
What makes you think it is?
A lot of things. Do you have a gun in the house?
You mean a pistol?
That's right.
Might. Why?
Where is it?
In the table there. Left-hand drawer.
I'll get it. How about it? $3.80. That gun belonged to you, Miss Gaylor?
Yes. My husband had it.
Mm-hmm.
All this talk about Mr. Hamlin. If he didn't kill himself, who do you think did?
Well, that's what we're trying to find out.
Uh-huh. But you got somebody you're looking at, haven't you? Somebody you figure did it?
This is your gun.
Uh-huh.
You're the only person who witnessed the shooting.
That's right.
Well, why don't you tell us about it?
Because if I did, you'd never believe it.
Well, give us a try, huh?
All right. Mr. Hamlin came here last night, like I said. He was drunk. Came in and started yelling. I was sitting in that chair reading. He started to curse at me.
Yeah.
I didn't pay him no mind. Told him to go away. But Nora was through with him. He wouldn't go.
Yes, ma'am.
All of a sudden, he pulled out a gun and started waving it around. Said if I didn't get Nora, he'd kill himself. I thought it was just some more of his play acting.
Yes, ma'am.
I didn't pay any attention to him. Figured when he was through, he'd go away. I went back to the book. Made him madder than ever.
Mm-hmm.
He grabbed the book out of my hand and shot. Shot right at it. Then he threw it into the fireplace.
He threw your book into the fireplace, is that right?
That's right. Just all of a sudden, something happened to me. I don't think I've ever been so mad. I took the gun out of the table there and shot him. Got real scared and ran into the study. Closed the door behind him.
Mm-hmm.
I heard him lock the door and move something up to the door.
Must have been the chair.
Yeah, I guess it was. Right after that, I heard him fall down. Right after that, Nora came into the room.
Why didn't you tell me, Mother?
Wasn't any reason to. I had to think about it. But I'd done what I had to do. I was going to call you men this morning and tell you the truth. I really was. You believe that?
Well, I guess so.
I really was. Just all of a sudden last night when he shot my book, I've never been so mad. I really wanted to kill him.
You remember it all pretty well, don't you?
Yes, I do. All of it.
You want to get a coat, Miss Gaylor? I'll have to take you downtown.
Yes, sir. I'll do it right away.
Better go with a friend.
Yeah.
Is it going to be all right?
We don't decide that, ma'am.
But she told the truth. Isn't that going to make a difference?
We'll put it down that way. You want to get that book, Ray? We're going to need it.
Yeah.
She didn't say a word about it.
Yeah, I know. Story's still pretty hard to believe, isn't it?
Here we are. Here's the book Hamlin shot. Slug's still in it. Looks like a 38.
Mm-hmm.
Might have made her mad enough to kill him.
Yeah?
What is it, Mr. Friday?
Holy Bible.
The story you have just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On July 14th, trial was held in Department 96, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. Jessie Margaret Gaylor was examined by 3 psychiatrists appointed by the court and found to be insane during the commission of the crime. A sanity hearing was held, and she was made a ward of the state. She was placed in the state hospital at Mendocino for treatment.
This week, a group of men are meeting in New Orleans for the 61st annual conference of the International Association of Chiefs of Police. Dragnet is pleased to extend its best wishes to our top law enforcement officers and to thank them for the protection they give our homes and families. May their convention be an outstanding success.
Dragnet. The story of your police force in action is a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to robbery detail. For a week, you've been on rolling stakeout looking for a gang of thieves. There's no sign of them. On the way back to the office, you get a 211 call. Your job? Investigate.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Thursday, October 9th. It was cool in Los Angeles. We were working the night watch out of robbery detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Chief of Detectives Thad Brown. My name's Friday. We were on our way back to the office when a 211 robbery call came in, and it was 12:18 a.m. when we got to the corner of Oxford and Barton Avenue. The Moyles Bar and Grill.
The officer back there.
Something I can do for you?
Friday and Smith, Central Robbery.
Sorensen, Unit 6L86.
Did you answer the call here?
Yeah, I'm a partner of me. He's on the other side of the place.
What do you got?
A couple of guys and a woman shot. My partner's with him now.
Uh-huh.
One of them's one of the hold-up men.
Yeah. Did you get a description?
Yeah, just put it out.
All right.
Guy that owns the place is back there if you want to talk to him.
Yeah, we do. Did he witness the shooting?
Yeah. Mr. Moyle?
Yeah?
These men would like to talk to you. This is Sergeant Friday, Officer Smith.
How do you do, sir?
How are you?
How do you do?
Anything more you need me for, Sergeant?
No, that's all, thanks.
We'll check the vicinity, see if we can come up with anything for you.
Good. You guys will handle the crime report, will you?
Yeah.
Right. Frank, you want to check with the ambulance crew while I talk to Moyles here?
Yeah, sure.
You want to tell me what happened?
I just told the other officer about it. Isn't that enough?
Well, we'd like to get the story from you.
Do you mind if we go over and sit down? The whole thing's been a strain.
Surely. This all right here?
Mm-hmm.
All right, sir. You want to start?
First off, I'd like to ask you a question.
Well, what's that?
Do I look like a weakling to you?
Well, that's kind of hard to say, sir.
Not at all. Simple arithmetic. I'm 5'10", 185, never run from a fight in my life.
Uh-huh.
Work in a bar, you handle some pretty tough ones. Loudmouths, guys that are trying to make time with some girl. You meet them all.
Mm-hmm.
Never had trouble with any of the rough times. Stood up and was counted.
Yes, sir. You could just tell us about the shooting.
Just what I'm getting to. First time in my life I wanted to dig a hole in the floor. Got to me.
Mm-hmm.
I told you I'm not a coward, but when them bullets started going around, I wanted out. O-U-T.
Yes, sir, I understand. Now, suppose you tell me what happened here.
Around 11:30, there were only a couple of people in the place. Young couple over here having coffee. And Elaine and George.
Who are they?
Two of the people who were shot. George Traber and Elaine Cronin. They're regulars.
I see.
They're sitting here having a beer. We're talking.
Uh-huh.
Almost every night, Elaine comes in after work. She's a waitress. Nice girl, real sensible.
What about Traber?
He's a security guard at some kind of plant out in the valley. Aircraft, I think. Not sure about it.
All right, you want to go ahead?
We're all three talking when these two guys come in. First, I thought it was somebody for a belt.
Mm-hmm.
I know most of the people in the neighborhood. Never saw these two before.
Yes, sir.
Come in and order a drink. I gave it to them. And they paid.
Yeah.
Dirty trick.
Well, how do you mean that?
Gave me a 5. Drinks came to about 20. Big guy picked up his change and left 80 on the bar. Figured it was a tip. Picked it up. Going to drop it in the glass.
Yeah.
No sooner turn around, the little guy pulls a gun. Points it right at me.
Yeah.
Tells me it's a stick-up. Guy with him runs over to the door to cover it.
Mm-hmm.
Little man moves down the bar and tells George and Elaine to stay where they are. They won't get hurt. Then he turns around to me and says for me to empty the register. I did what he said.
Yes, sir. Now, the other man was by the door all this time, was he?
Yeah. Just standing there. I guess he wanted to check the other side of the place. 2 kids had left. Wasn't anybody there.
Mm-hmm.
All the time I was standing there hoping that nobody'd started anything.
Yeah.
Joe?
Yeah. What do you got?
Ambulance just left. Took all 3 of them in. Sorensens were the suspect.
How they doing?
The other guy they found up front's not doing too good, hit in the stomach.
Mm-hmm.
Other fella shot up pretty bad, but none of the wounds looked serious. Girl was hit in the right leg. Not too bad.
Anything else?
Well, near as I can figure, the guy who was shot in the stomach is one of the hold-up men.
Checks out with what I got from the owner. Did you say anything?
Uh-uh. Lieutenant said they'd call us from the hospital as soon as we could talk to him.
We better get in touch with the officer down there and make sure there's somebody with him all the time.
Yeah, I got the 2 guns involved, 32 automatic, 38 police special.
All right.
Found the 32 in the suspect's hand.
Okay. You want to call the office? At least stay with the suspect. I better get back to the owner.
Right.
That other cop tell you anything?
No, sir, not much. Now, if you want to go ahead with your story.
I thought maybe you had some kind of clue or something to tell you who the other 2 were.
There were 3 of them?
Yeah. 2 in here. The other one was out in the car. Didn't come in at all.
Mm-hmm. Did you see the person driving the car?
Not good. I told the other cops about it. Could even tell if it was a man or not.
What do you mean?
Might have been a girl with one of those new short haircuts. I just got a glance when they drove off.
I see. You want to go on about what happened in the bar?
Well, after this one guy told me it was a holdup, I gave him the money. I didn't want any trouble.
Mm-hmm.
I put the currency on the bar, and the little fella stuffed it in his pockets. I thought they'd leave after that. Might have if I hadn't started a little laugh.
How's that?
I started to laugh. I guess it was the tension and all, but when I opened the register, I looked right at the frame hanging over it. First dollar I took in.
Yeah.
This was my first holdup. I got to thinking about what I could hang up to show for it. Thought the only thing would be a frame full of nothing. It struck me real funny. Little fella got real sore, wanted to know what the big joke was.
Oh.
I couldn't tell him. More he asked, funnier the whole thing got. That's when he started to look around to see if there was some kind of private joke.
Mm-hmm.
George and Elaine must have thought I was nuts.
Yeah.
Elaine tried to wave to me and tell me to be quiet. That's when the guy saw the watch she was wearing.
Well, what happened?
Told her to take it off. Got real nasty about it. Guess he was sore about me laughing.
Mm-hmm.
She did like he said. As soon as I saw that, I got mad. Real mad.
Yeah.
I thought about what I could do. I don't keep a gun in the place. All I could lay my hands on was a wet bar rag.
What was that?
A wet bar rag.
Oh, I see.
So I did what the guy told me. Put my hands on the bar right out in plain sight.
Mm-hmm.
The little fella started to back out of the bar, and that's when George went into action.
How do you mean that?
He's a security guard. You know, I told you that.
Oh, yeah, I see.
Well, he carries this gun. He pulled it out and reached around the lane and blasted at the hold-up man. Hit him right in the stomach. Guy kind of turned like he was going to run, then fell right on his face.
Mm-hmm.
Then the big guy, the one at the door, he aimed his gun and shot at George.
Was the girl still in front of him?
Not exactly. You see, when George shot at the one guy, he knocked Elaine down. Wasn't fast enough, though. First shot from the big one caught Elaine in the leg. Second one got George.
Well, what were you doing all this time?
I was still there with my hands on the bar. Whole thing happened so fast there wasn't anything I could do. Just stood there.
Uh-huh.
Right after that, the big guy ran out of the place. I jumped over the bar and went after him. Guess I forgot there wasn't any way I could stop him. Didn't think of that. Good thing I didn't catch him.
Yeah. You followed the man out on the street, did you?
Yeah. Saw him jump into the car and take off. That's when I saw the other person. You know, the one who was driving.
Yes, sir. Did you get a good look at the car?
Saw it drive off.
I understand, but did you see the license plate?
Yeah. But not so I could tell you the number.
Was it a California plate?
Yeah, I could see that.
All right, now about the car itself. Can you tell me what kind it was?
Nash sedan. I think it might have been a 1953. Can't be sure about that, though. Might have been a new one.
What color, do you remember?
Near as I can remember, it was kind of light tan.
All right, sir. Can you give me a description of the big man, the one who stood at the door?
Well, I gave it to that other cop.
Well, yes, sir, but I'd like to go over it again with you, if it's all right.
Sure. As long as it'll help you get the fellas.
All right, how old was he?
Well, I'd say 20-something. Anywhere between 24 and 27.
Mm-hmm. How about his height?
Tall one, over 6 feet. Didn't come real close, except when he was sitting. I couldn't pin it down for you, but I'd say over 6 feet for sure.
All right, sir. About his weight?
180.
Dark or light?
Light. Had light hair and blue eyes. Hair was wavy. You could almost say the guy was too pretty, like some kind of advertisement, you know, for hair oil or something.
Mm-hmm. What was he wearing?
Had on dark pants and coat. Wore a dark shirt and a white tie. Remember that, because you don't see that combination much nowadays. Back in the 30s, it was all the go.
Mm-hmm. You're sure about the shirt and tie?
Positive. Real contrast. Dark shirt and white tie.
All right. Was he clean shaven?
Yeah.
Talk to the business office, Joe. They're sending a team over to the hospital.
That's good.
Stop and talk to the men in 6L86. They checked the neighborhood. Didn't come up with anything.
Mm-hmm.
What about Elaine? Is she going to be all right?
Yes, sir. She's not hurt seriously.
Sure, glad of that. Felt bad about not doing anything to help her, but I'm the kind of guy, when I cut my finger, I can't even put a bandage on it myself.
Mm-hmm.
Always been like that.
Yeah. What kind of gun did the man at the door have, do you remember?
Looked like a .45 automatic.
I see.
Mm-hmm. Descriptions check out.
Yeah. Type of guns are the same, too.
You know these men?
Well, we've got an idea who they are, yes, sir. We've been after them for some time now.
Sure wish I could have given you more. It was all over in a few minutes.
Well, you've helped us quite a bit already, Mr. Moyle.
At the time, it seemed longer than a Monday when there's been too much Sunday.
Yeah.
These guys done this kind of thing before?
Well, we think so. They've been hitting theaters. This is the first time they've hit a cafe.
Hope it's going to be the last. Way they put the B on George and Elaine, like to see you get them.
Well, we're going to try.
If you do, could you do me a favor?
What's that?
Well, I kind of goofed it up when they were here before. I'd like another chance at the big guy when he hadn't got his gun.
Well, I'm afraid we can't do that, Moyle. It's a police business.
Why not? He's bigger than me.
Yes, sir?
Be a fair fight, wouldn't it?
For the past 6 weeks, on Tuesday and Thursday nights, 3 people had been hitting theaters in the central Hollywood area. Descriptions obtained from the victims were the same in each case. Rolling stakeouts had been set up without result. Runs by the stats office had been checked out, and we were still no nearer to our suspects. In each case, the method of operation was the same. 2 men would enter a theater box office and rob the cashier of all currency, and then leave in a car driven by a third person. We'd been unable to establish whether the person in the car was male or female. None of the victims had been able to give us a good description. However, in all of the holdups, the car the suspects used was the same. The robbery of the cafe and the shooting of the 2 witnesses gave us our first concrete lead to the identity of the suspects. The description of the smaller man matched the one we'd gotten in the theater jobs. From what the bar owner told us, it was more than possible that he was one of the bandits that we'd been looking for. We recovered the ejected shell casings and the spent bullets. They were booked as evidence. At 1:56 a.m., Frank and I left Moyle's Bar and Grill and drove over to George Street Receiving Hospital. We talked to Dr. Hall. He told us that the 2 victims were receiving treatment and would recover. From personal effects, the suspect was identified as Carl Layden. We called the business office and made arrangements for his home to be checked. Dr. Hall told us that the man was in serious condition, but that we might be able to question him. We went into the treatment room. Layden was under heavy drugs.
Layden? Layden?
Yeah?
These men want to talk to you.
Well, tell them to go away. I don't want to talk to anybody. Tell them.
Layden, we want to ask you about tonight.
You a cop?
That's right.
You tell me something.
What's that?
How bad is it?
They're doing what they can. You lost a lot of blood.
Am I going to make it?
We don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Now, who are the other 2, Layden?
I don't know.
They left you alone. You don't owe them anything. Now, who are they?
Come on, Layden. How about the one in the car? What's the name?
They walked out on me, didn't they?
That's right. Now, what are the names?
How about it, Layden?
Oh, Norberg. He's one of them.
Norberg?
Yeah, Sam Norberg.
Has he done any big time?
I don't think so.
Which one is he, Layden? The one in the bar?
The driver.
How about the blonde? What's his name? Layden?
Wait a minute, Joe. You're going to have to stop. No more questions. He's too weak.
All right. We'll be outside, Doctor.
I'll be right with you.
Right.
What do you think?
I don't know. It's a good lead.
Yeah. You got a name. Let's find who wears it, huh?
Better run it through, I guess. Try to come up with an address.
Hope he's not the kind of guy who changes it 3 or 4 times a year.
Well, if he is, we can help him.
Yeah.
We'll give him a new one. 2:30 a.m. Frank and I went back to the office. We contacted the team who'd checked Carl Layden's apartment. They told us they'd found nothing to help us in apprehending the other 2 suspects. A stakeout was set up on the place. We ran the name Sam Norberg through R&I, but we failed to turn a record on anyone answering his description. Frank checked the phone book and the city directory. We came up with 2 possibles. We asked Sergeant Bud Young and Officer Serrani from the business office to help us. 2:47 a.m., we got to the first address, 713 Larchmont Boulevard. It was a small bungalow. A tan 1953 Nash was parked in the driveway. But the doors were locked and the radiator was still warm. While Young and Sirianni covered the door.
The car makes it look good.
Oh, you want to get the door?
Probably asleep.
Yeah. Somebody coming now.
Yeah.
Who is it?
Sam Norberg,
What do you want?
we want to talk to you. Police officers.
You guys know what time it is?
All right, move over.
Get this over fast. I got to get some sleep. I can't stay up half the night answering
All
questions.
right, stand still.
He's clean.
It must be really important to come around this late.
It is.
Anybody else in the house?
Oh, I got enough trouble trying to feed myself.
Well, you won't mind if we look around.
Make a difference if I did?
No, not much.
I figured that. Go ahead.
Check out back. Tell them it's okay. Huh?
Yeah.
Got the place surrounded. We expect to find the purple gang.
I wonder if you're as good with the answers as you are at the question.
Look, you might think I'm a foul ball, but I don't know what you're after. I'll have to hand you this.
Yeah.
You guys must have me mixed up with somebody else.
You're Sam Norberg, aren't you?
Yeah?
Well, we didn't knock on the wrong door.
Okay, Joe. Place checks out clean.
Did you talk to Young and Sirianni?
Yeah, they'll wait for us. I told them this one looked good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to rush you, fellas, but you want to tell me what this all about?
That's your car out in the driveway?
Yeah, what?
You got the keys then, huh?
On the table there.
All right. You want to get dressed?
What for? I'm not going anyplace.
You keep believing that, but get your clothes off.
I got a coat in the closet.
Point it out. We'll get it.
There's only one there.
Right here. Now let's go. These the keys?
You see any more? I don't know what this is all about. When you find out you made a mistake, don't apologize. Just go away so I get me some sleep.
Yeah, sure. You can stand right there.
Badge makes you a big man, doesn't
You
it?
better keep your mouth closed. You're going to find you're in the wrong league here, mister.
I'll check the registration.
There's no reason to do that. I own the car.
How about it?
Got his name on it.
Well, who did you think you'd find? You come up with anything, I'll split with you.
Anything else?
Wait a minute. Take a look.
Norberg, you know a Carl Layden?
Never heard of him.
You sure about that?
I told you.
And this is your car.
Well, you know that.
Well, then maybe you can explain this.
What?
This driver's license
What about it?
belongs to Carl Layden.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
We made a thorough search of Sam Norberg's house, but we failed to turn up anything more to tie him in with the robberies. He was taken downtown to the city hall for questioning. 4:30 a.m.
Where'd you first meet Layden?
I don't even know.
Well, then you can tell us how his driver's license turned up in your car, can't you?
No, I can't tell you.
You said it was your car.
Yeah?
It was locked when we found it.
That's pretty smart figuring.
Well, I hope you're going to do something now.
What's that supposed to mean?
I don't know how long you think you're going to be able to keep this up. We got you nailed and you know it. Now, why don't you tell us what we want to know and we can all go home and get some sleep.
I sure like to help you, but I don't even know what you're talking about.
Layden says he knows you.
When'd he say that?
Tonight. Said you drove the car for him and the other guy.
Where'd you see him?
Layden?
Yeah.
Georgia Street Receiving Hospital. He's unhappy with you boys. Figures you ran out on him. Willing to fill us in on the whole deal.
With him on our side and the witnesses to the robbery tonight, you're in real trouble, Norbert.
This on the level?
Right down the line.
I heard Layden didn't make it.
You heard wrong.
You want us to put in a call so you can talk to him?
It's a lousy deal. Clint told me he was dead.
Clint's the blonde fella, isn't he?
Yeah, Clint Purnell. Told me all about how Layden didn't make it to the door of the place. Said he went right out.
Well, that's not right.
I'll check R&I.
Okay.
That lousy Clint.
You know where he is?
No, if I did, I'd give it to you.
When'd you see him last?
Tonight, I dropped him off downtown.
Where?
5th and Spring. Said he had a big day.
Uh-huh.
Should have known not to trust Clint. Yeah. You got a cigarette?
Here.
Thanks.
Help yourself. How long you known Purnell?
I don't know. A couple of months.
Where'd you meet him?
A bar out on 1st Street. Layden and me used to go there all the time.
Uh-huh.
Layden and me had been good friends for a long time. We never been in trouble before we met Clint.
Purnell set up the deal?
Yeah. He started to talk to us about we could pick up some easy money. He laid out the whole idea. Layden and me told him we'd never been hung up in anything like it before.
Mm-hmm.
He said he knew enough for all of us. Clint's a pretty good talker. Guess it don't make a lot of difference, though. We could have said no.
Where's Purnell live?
Had a place out on Venice Boulevard.
You got an address?
No, but I can show you where it is.
How'd you do?
I don't think we got it. Take a look at these. This the Clint Purnell you're talking about?
Yeah, that's him. He's older than that now.
Mm-hmm.
He's better looking in person than he is in that picture.
Well, he probably had an off day.
Well, his clothes make him look different, too. The dark shirts.
Always wear them, does he?
Yeah, I never saw him in anything else. He asked me one day why I always wore a white shirt. Said it was square.
Mm-hmm.
Asked me how long I could wear a white shirt. I told him one day.
Yeah.
He says I'm crazy. Big deal about how he can wear a dark shirt 3 or 4 days and the dirt don't show on the collar. Thinks people don't know the difference. They can tell.
How many theater jobs did you go on?
5.
How come you switched to cafes?
That was Clint's idea. Said you might have the show staked out.
Mm-hmm.
Everything we did, he planned it. We asked about something, he said not to worry about it. He had it all figured.
Yeah.
Oh, we said he was as smart as any cop. Kept telling us you made mistakes.
We do.
That's what he said.
He should have told you the rest of it.
What do you mean?
We can make them more than once. We We took Sam Norberg down to the carpool and we drove him out on Venice Boulevard. He pointed out the rooming house where Clint Purnell lived. While I waited with Norberg, Frank went up to check with the manager. In a couple of minutes, he came back.
Now, looks like we missed it.
What do you mean?
Manager says Purnell was here about 2:30.
Yeah.
Packed his bags and left.
Frank and I, along with the suspect, went up and looked over the room. Apparently, Purnell had left in a hurry. We talked to the manager, but he was unable to tell us where the suspect had gone. He did tell us that Purnell had driven up to the place in a car and, after packing his belongings, had left. The manager went on to say that he knew the suspect didn't own an automobile himself and that he'd gotten the license number of the car in the event that there might be any trouble. We called the Department of Motor Vehicles, and we found that the car was registered to a Mrs. Robert Sherburne, 297 Colorado Boulevard. Frank and I went back to the main jail and booked Sam Norberg in on suspicion of robbery. After that, we drove out to talk to the Sherburne woman. The address was a riding academy in Griffith Park. We left the car down the street and walked onto the grounds.
Wonder what the pitch is. Purnell driving a car registered to a Mrs. Sherburne.
I don't know.
Guess this is the office, huh?
That's what the sign says.
I'm so beat I'm having trouble seeing the building, let alone the sign.
Well, I know.
It's kind of early. Maybe no one's up.
There's got to be somebody around. Let's try it again.
Yeah.
Yes?
Miss Sherburne?
That's right.
Police officers. This is my partner, Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
What's wrong?
How do you do, ma'am? We'd like to ask you a couple of questions about
Robert,
your car.
isn't it? Something's happened to Robert.
No, ma'am.
You don't have to lie to me. I know that's it. Robert smashed up the car and he's been hurt.
No, ma'am, that's not it. You know a man named Clint Purnell?
Not about my husband?
No.
Oh, that's a relief. He left for Bakersfield this morning. I thought there'd been an accident.
Mm-hmm.
I was scared. Like when you're baking a cake and somebody slams the door, you have to check the oven, but you're afraid to look and you're afraid not to. You know how that is.
Yes, ma'am. Now, about Clint Purnell, do you know him?
Oh, yes, I do. He's my stepbrother. Is that why you're here?
What's that?
Is Clint in trouble again?
We'd like to talk to him.
I guess I should have known it. Clint never comes around unless he's in trouble.
You seen him then?
Yes, he came by last night. Said he wanted to borrow the station wagon to pick up his stuff. He said he was going back east because he couldn't make a go of it here on the coast.
Do you know where he is now?
Yes. He's back in the tack room. Said he doesn't have any place to sleep, and I'd let him use the cot in there.
All right.
What kind of trouble's he in this time?
Be better if we talk to him.
Well, whatever it is, I'm not going to stand behind him. He promised me. He promised Robert. If he's running again, he isn't going to get any help from us.
All right, where's this tack room?
Back there. The second door.
Thank you.
I hope there isn't going to be any trouble.
Well, if there is, he'll have to start it. Want to try the door?
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
What are you doing?
All right, Purnell, come on, get up.
What are you doing in
Here,
here?
feet.
Well, you got no right to come in here like this.
Get your hands around here.
I'll shake it.
All right.
Stand still. He's clean, Joe.
Want to check the bed?
Yeah.
You guys got a lot of nerve busting in here like this. No reason for it.
Yeah, sure.
45 automatic under his pillow.
Big deal. So you found a gun. What's that prove? You carry him, too.
Yeah, but there's a big difference, mister.
Is that right?
Yeah, we get paid for it.
The story you've just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On January 20th, trial was held in Department 97, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. Samuel Garland Norberg, Carl Franklin Layton, and Clinton Ward Purnell were tried and convicted of robbery in the first degree, 5 counts, and assault with intent to commit murder, 1 count. They received sentence as prescribed by law. Robbery in the first degree is punishable by imprisonment in the state penitentiary for a period of not less than 5 years. Assault with intent to commit murder is punishable by imprisonment for a period of from 1 to 14 years.
You have just heard Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action, and starring Jack Webb, a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to homicide detail. You get a call from a man who tells you his wife has failed to keep an appointment. There's no trace of her. There's evidence of foul play. Your job? Find her.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Friday, August 7th. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working the night watch out of homicide detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Lorman. My name's Friday. I was on my way back from missing persons, and it was 1:27 a.m. when I got back to room 42, homicide squad room.
Hi, Joe. You talked to Graham?
Yeah, I just got in.
How'd they do?
Well, they came up with a kid.
Where'd they find him?
The boyfriends. They were watching TV. The missing youngster had told his friend his mother knew he was there.
Uh-huh. Everything's all right then, huh?
Yeah, I guess so. Graham said the kid's going to have to eat standing up for a few days.
You know, it's a funny thing about parents.
What do you mean?
A thing like this happens, and all they care about is getting their kids back.
Mm-hmm.
After a while, they begin to think about it and get sore. Doesn't make a lot of sense.
Well, you figured you got a couple of kids.
Yeah, I guess it'd be the same way.
I got it. Homicide Friday. Yes, sir, that's right. Well, where were you supposed to meet her? Well, have you checked there? Let's see. All right, you want to give me that address? Yes, sir. No, we'll be right out. Right. Goodbye, sir. Oh, we got one we better check here.
Yeah?
Bartender out on Normandy. Says his wife was supposed to meet him a half hour ago, and she hasn't shown up.
He called his house?
Yeah, she's not there either. Says she's never been late before.
Yeah, it's always the first time.
Well, he doesn't think so.
Huh?
He thinks she's been kidnapped. Frank and I left the office and drove over to the bar. It was located on the corner of Normandy Avenue and Monroe Street. In the event the story we'd gotten on the phone was true and the woman had been kidnapped, we parked the car down the street and I walked back to the place. A couple of minutes later, Frank followed. We met the man who'd placed the call, George Cabot. We asked him to tell us what was wrong.
Sure didn't waste any time getting here.
You want to tell us what's happened?
Yeah, my wife's gone.
How do you mean?
Ethel's disappeared.
Well, when'd you see her last?
This morning when I left the house.
Have you talked to her since then?
Yeah, at 12:55 tonight. She called here to tell me she was on the way down.
Mm-hmm. Did she seem all right then?
Yeah, as far as I could tell.
Possible that she might have stopped at one of the neighbors?
Well, I thought about that, too, but I checked. None of them have seen her.
You called your home, Andy.
Yeah, I didn't get any answer. I tell you, something's happened to Ethel. I'm about to blow my cork not knowing what it is.
Well, maybe she's still at the house and didn't hear the phone ring.
Yeah, I figured that, too. Maybe that's her. Hello. Ethel, what? No, this is Cabot's Bar and Grill. Yes, ma'am. Who? No, I didn't see him tonight. No, I'm sure. Yeah, I'd know him. No, lady, I'm not lying for him. He isn't here. Yeah, if I see him, I will. Yeah, good night. Wasn't her.
Yeah.
Woman's in the same fix I'm in, only she can't find her husband.
Cabot?
Yes, sir.
I hope you won't be offended by this, but does your wife drink?
You mean you think she stopped at some bar and got gassed up and just didn't show up? Is that what you mean?
No, that's not exactly what I meant. I just asked if your wife drank.
Well, you got it all wrong. Ethel has a martini once in a while before dinner, but if she wanted to drink any more than that, she could come down here and I'd pour for her.
All right. It's a question we have to ask. You understand that?
Just as long as you don't think that Ethel's a lush, because she isn't.
You said you checked your house, huh?
Yeah, when she didn't show up, I waited a while, and then I got worried and called Mrs. Lawrence. She's the lady next door.
Mm-hmm.
Asked her if she'd seen Ethel.
Yeah.
She said my wife had been over there all evening. They were playing that baseball game, line drive, you know, with the cards.
I don't think I know it.
It's a new game. Anyway, they played that for a while, and then they watched the television, and at 12:30, Ethel said she had to come down and meet me. Mrs. Lawrence said she left the house then and drove away.
Mm-hmm.
This neighbor's kind of bubble-headed, you know. She's not real bright about things, so I thought that maybe Ethel had gotten sick and couldn't answer the phone when I called.
Yeah.
I called a cab and went home. The car was gone, so was Ethel. I checked the whole house and the yard. Not a sign of her. Looked in the front closet, too. Her coat was gone. I'm sure she'd left the house.
Mm-hmm.
I had the cab driver come back to the bar the same way that Ethel always drives it. I thought maybe there was an accident or something. If there was, I'd be able to see it. You know, people or cops.
Yeah, I understand.
Wasn't anything.
Does she always come down here at night?
Regular as clockwork. Never misses. Excuse me.
Yeah, sure.
Hello. Yeah. No, I remember. No, ma'am, I haven't seen it. Look, lady, I got my own troubles. I'm not trying to cover up for your husband. Well, it doesn't make any difference to me or not what you think. He isn't here. Okay, that's fine with me. Never ran up more than a 30-cent tab anyway. And even then, he ate all the peanuts on the bar, and you tell him I said so. Yeah, good night. Real crackpot.
You were saying that your wife made it a practice to come down here. Is that right?
That's right. You see, our boy was killed in the Pacific 5 years ago, our only kid. We both took it pretty hard. It got on Ethel's nerves sitting around the house by herself, so she'd drive down to pick me up. Get here a little early and help me with the cleanup.
Yes, sir.
Called at 12:55 to say she was leaving, walk in the door at 1:05. Didn't vary more than a minute either way.
Mm-hmm.
Depend on the light at the corner of Denmore and Santa Monica. If she makes it green, it's 1:04 when she walks in. Otherwise, she's a minute later.
I see. Does she always call before she leaves the house?
I can walk over to the phone at 5:01 and pick it up. Know she's going to be on the other end.
Has your wife been in good mental spirits lately, do you know?
How do you mean?
Well, I mean, has there been anything on her mind? Anything that worried her more than usual?
No, she didn't say anything. If there was, I'd have been able to tell.
Is there any special reason why you think she's been kidnapped?
Just that she's gone. It isn't like Ethel to do something like this. I know it's not her idea.
Never done anything like this before, then?
No?
Mm-hmm. Do you have a picture of her we could have?
Sure, I got one in my wallet. It's probably that woman again. Hello, look, I haven't seen you. What? Now, look, don't you try that with me. No, I don't. If you hurt her, I'll make you sorry the rest of your life. Hello? Hello?
Cabot? Cabot?
What?
What's the matter?
Nothing. I guess I made a mistake about the whole thing.
How do you mean that?
I guess nothing's happened, Ethel. Just forget I called you about it.
Is that the way you want it?
Yeah, I'm sorry to cause you all the trouble. I'd like to buy you a drink if I can.
No, thanks.
Sorry about the whole thing.
You want to tell us what they said?
Who?
Party on the phone there.
I don't want to talk about anything.
You're not going to help your wife that way. Now, what'd they ask for?
Look, I told you guys it was all a mistake. Now, why not let it go at that?
How about the picture you were going to give us?
There's no reason for it. The whole thing's a goof-up.
The way you talked on the phone didn't make it sound that way.
All right, she's gone. Those are the people who have her.
They asked for money?
No. They said for me to sit tight and not to tell anybody or they'd kill Ethel. I'm going to do like they say.
You're taking a big responsibility on yourself, Cabot.
Maybe so, but she's my wife.
This is a big city. It's going to be a little tough for us to find the kidnappers without your help.
Not so bad.
How do you mean that?
I got an idea who they are. It isn't going to be too hard to find out.
You go out on a limb and you may give your wife more trouble than help.
Ethel's my wife.
You're not going to let us help you then, huh?
No, and I don't want to go over it anymore. I got the only stake in this anyway.
Well, you're wrong about that.
What?
What about your wife? Because of his attitude, it was useless to question George Cabot any further. We left the bar and got in touch with the office. We made arrangements for a complete 24-hour surveillance to be kept on him. In most cases of this type, the kidnappers usually demand that the victim's friends or relatives stay away from law enforcement agencies. They do this to stall for time. Statistics prove that in the vast majority of cases, the victim's fate was decided long before the kidnapping occurred. It never is the intent of any officer to endanger the life of a kidnapped victim, but at the same time, it is necessary for them to have all available information so that they can move rapidly when the case does break. In an effort to gain more information on the missing woman, Frank and I went over to see the victim's next-door neighbor. She identified herself as Carol Lawrence and asked us into the house.
I'm not sure this is quite proper, you know.
What's that, Miss Lawrence?
A couple of men in my house at this hour, especially with me in my bathrobe.
Oh, I'm sure the neighbors will understand.
Oh, I hope so. A couple of real gabby ones from the street, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Big mouths.
Yes, ma'am.
Guess you being policeman, it's all right, you think?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then. What do you want to know?
When did you see Miss Cabot last?
You mean Ethel?
That's right.
I saw her tonight. Why?
What time did she leave?
Well, I guess it was about 12:30.
Say where she was going?
Didn't have to.
What do you mean?
Ethel only goes one place that time of night.
Yeah.
Down to pick up George.
We understand she usually calls him before she leaves.
That's right. I left here at 12:30, went next door to get a coat. A couple of minutes later, I heard her drive off.
What can you tell us about her?
Nice woman. Real nice.
Yes, ma'am.
We're great chums, you know. Belong to the same club and see a lot of each other.
Mm-hmm.
You see, my husband's gone, and Ethel's man works every night, so she's alone a lot of the time, too.
I understand.
Ever since their boy was killed, she's been kind of empty.
How was that?
Their boy was killed.
Yes, ma'am.
Been kind of empty ever since.
I see.
Then, too, George don't help much.
Well, what do you mean, Miss Lawrence?
Oh, maybe I shouldn't have said anything.
Well, it's all right, ma'am.
Oh, I sure don't want to get nobody in trouble.
Well, you won't.
You won't nose it around that I told you anything.
No, ma'am.
How about you?
No, ma'am.
One thing I can't go is a person who carries tales. Just can't go. And don't want anybody to say that about me.
Well, yes, ma'am. What is it you're going to say?
I guess it'll be all right. You're so honest looking.
Thank you.
He is, too.
Yes, ma'am.
What would you like to tell us, Miss Lawrence?
Well, you know, poor Ethel isn't very happy.
Is that so?
Oh, my. I feel so sorry for her sometimes.
What about?
Well, it's that husband of hers.
Mr. Cabot?
Yeah. Oh, he's a good provider and all, but I always say there's more to life than just that.
Yes, ma'am.
Nice home, good car, paid bills and all, but George isn't the fella he makes out, you know.
That so?
Why do you think Ethel goes down to that bar to pick him up every night?
Well, we don't know. Why don't you tell us?
You're a man. You should be able to figure it out. She doesn't trust him. That's why.
Uh-huh.
All those girls hanging around the bar. Ethel notices things like that. George has got pretty big eyes, too. It doesn't take a lot of imagination to add it all up.
Well, has Mrs. Cabot ever talked to you about all this?
A couple of times. She'd come over, crying because of something George had said or done. She'd tell me.
Mm-hmm.
No, sir. No matter what it looked like, they weren't very happy.
Did they ever quarrel that you know of?
A lot of times. George used to yell at her, scream about her, leaving him alone. Could hear it over here. Summertime, you know. The windows are open. Sound carries right over.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't really not hear it. And mind, I didn't try.
Yes, we understand. Any of these quarrels ever get violent, do you know?
You mean, did George ever hit her?
That's right.
Oh, you bet he did. Gave her a black eye once. Took a couple of weeks for it to go away. Poor Ethel. She tried to hide it with makeup, but you could still tell.
I see. When she left, did she say that she was going down to pick up her husband?
Yeah. Told me she had to go get George. Made her a little mad tonight.
Why is that?
Missed the last part of the movie on TV.
I see.
Ethel had to leave before we found out who the swindler was.
Uh-huh. Can you tell us what kind of a car the Cabots drive?
Pontiac.
Coupe or sedan?
Sedan, light blue.
What year?
This one. Brand new.
Mm-hmm. Do you happen to know the license number?
No. Didn't give that to you. Didn't pay a lot of attention.
Do you know if they do business with one service station?
No, I can't tell you that.
Can you give us a description of Mrs. Cabot?
Sure. I'll give you a picture if you want one.
We'd appreciate it.
It's no trouble at all.
All right.
I've got a scrapbook here. Some shots of Ethel.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, here's that pencil sharpener I was looking for. It's here now. I know it's here.
Is that it there, the book?
No. That's my high school annual. Now, wait just a minute. Well, it is here. I know it is here. Oh, here it is. Mm-hmm. I took all these myself.
Yes, ma'am. They're very nice.
Oh, that's my husband. I took that at Coronado Island one spring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, here's one you can take. This one here in the chef's hat, that's Ethel. We were having a barbecue, and she was the cook. It's a little fuzzy, but it gives you an idea what she looks like, you see.
Mm-hmm.
Well, her hair's cut short now. Had it cut last month. Kind of bob-like. Well, you can take it.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
You know, I just thought of it. You haven't told me what this is all about. Something happened to Ethel and George?
Well, we're not sure yet. We're just checking out a complaint.
Oh, well, as long as you're all right.
Yes, ma'am. Well, I think that about covers it. Sure like to thank you for your cooperation.
No, I'm happy to help.
Good night, Miss Lawrence.
Good night, Mr. Smith.
There's one more thing. Will you be home tomorrow if we have to get in touch with you?
All day. If I don't answer right away, let the phone ring for a while. I got some work to do in the garden.
All right, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Well, I hope I helped you out. Good night.
Good night.
Good night. What do you think?
I don't know. The way she tells it, something's out of line, isn't it?
Well, Cabot seemed to be pretty upset when he got that phone call.
There's only one big trouble with that.
What do you mean?
Maybe that's what he wanted us to think. "2:45 a.m. Frank and I got back to the office. We ran the names George and Ethel Cabot through R&I, but we found no record on them. We sent a teletype to DMV up in Sacramento asking for all available information on a car registered to George Cabot or his wife or both. Frank went over to the business office to see if the men in the units that were keeping Cabot under surveillance had reported in. There were no messages. We made a 15.7 report directing it to Captain Lorman, telling him of what had happened and what action we'd taken. At 3:52 a.m., we were ready to leave the office.
You all set?
Yeah. Now, let's go.
All right.
I get it.
Make it fast, huh?
Homicide, Friday. Where? Yeah. Okay, we'll be right over.
What do you got?
Ethel Cabot.
Yeah?
We just found her.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
Frank and I left the office and immediately drove over to Georgia Street Receiving Hospital. When we got there, we talked to Dr. Sebastian, and he gave us the whole story. The woman had been found lying by the roadside. She was picked up by a motorist. He'd taken her directly to the hospital. Sebastian went on to tell us that from her appearance, Ethel Cabot had been severely beaten and then rolled or dragged in hot tar. Her clothes were covered with it. Her hair was matted. The doctor said that the woman's head had been shaved and that most of the tar had been removed. A tentative identification had been made through a letter found on her person when she'd been brought in. An attempt was made to call her husband, but there was no answer at either the bar or at their home. Frank and I waited until the woman had been treated. Then we went in to talk to her. She was in a state of severe shock, and she was incoherent.
Don't hit me anymore. Please don't hit me anymore.
Out of her head.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything. Don't hit me.
Miss Cabot. Miss Cabot.
Please let me go. Please.
You're all right now. There's nothing to be afraid of here.
You're lying.
You're in a hospital, Miss Cabot. You're all right.
Don't let him get me anymore. Don't let him touch me.
Nobody's going to hurt you, Miss Cabot.
Where's George?
We're trying to reach him, ma'am.
I don't want to see him. Not ever. All his fault.
George caused this?
They told me.
Well, who said that?
Both of them. They said they were doing it for George.
There were two people?
Yes. He kept hitting me. And he poured the tar over me. Wasn't anything I could do. Nothing.
Did you know these men?
They kept hitting me. George. George, tell him to stop. Not anymore, please. Not anymore.
Miss Cabot, do you know who the two men were?
No, I don't know him. They didn't have any reason to do it. Except for George. That's what they told me. I didn't know they were going to hit me like that.
Did you hear a name?
No, I don't know them.
Did either one of them call a name of any kind?
Please make him stop. Don't let him pour any more tar on me.
Miss Cabot.
Burns. I can't stand anymore.
Miss Cabot, can you tell us what the men looked like?
George. George, tell him to stop. Tell him.
Miss Cabot.
No, we're not going to get much more out of her, Joe.
No. Better get a policewoman up here to stand by.
Yeah.
George. George, make him stop.
Joe?
Yeah, Dave.
While you were talking, the Cabot woman call came in before you get in touch with the business office.
Okay, Dave, right away.
They probably got a line on Cabot, huh?
Yeah. Hello, this Friday. When? Okay, we're leaving right now. Right, bye. Well, that really tears it.
What's that?
They just lost the tail on Cabot. Frank and I went back to the office. We got in touch with a unit who'd been assigned to keep Cabot under surveillance. They told us that the man had gone downtown and had entered an all-night movie. In the darkness, he managed to get away. A team of men was sent out to his house, but he hadn't returned. A stakeout was set up on it. A check of his bar failed to yield any additional information as to his whereabouts. A local broadcast was sent out to all units asking that they be on the lookout for the man. If he was found, he was to be taken into custody, and we were to be notified immediately. 6:45 a.m. Frank and I checked out of the office, and we went home to shave and change our clothes. At 8:15 a.m., we got back to homicide. There was somebody waiting to see us.
You want to see us?
You Friday and Smith?
That's right.
I'm Arnold Leffer. I got something to tell you.
All right.
You heard from Cabot?
No.
Oh, I figured maybe he'd call you.
You know him?
Yeah, I work for him. Help out in this place.
You heard from him?
Yeah, this morning. He called me at home.
Did he say where he was?
No, but I think he'd been drinking. He sounded like it.
Yeah.
It was either that or he was mad, one or the other.
Is that right?
Yeah, last time I heard him talk like he did this morning was when he had that beef in the bar about a week ago.
What was that all about?
Oh, a couple of guys thought they were pretty rough, tried to prove it to George.
Yeah.
Well, he cleaned up the place with them.
What caused that beef?
Well, they started to get loud with a couple of girls in the place. George told them to quiet down. They didn't do it, so he told them to get out.
Yeah.
They didn't want to go, and they tried to put the muscle on George, but they tried it with the wrong guy. George really showed them.
That's all?
Oh, yeah. Bounced them both right out in the street. Guys were pretty sore about it.
When did this happen?
About a week ago. I don't remember the exact date.
Mm-hmm.
They were pretty sore. Told George they'd find some way to get even with him.
I get it. Homicide Friday. He's not here right now. Can I take a message? Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am. No, he's not working today. Yes, ma'am. Well, if you give me your number, I'll have him call when he gets in. All right. That's 98. Yes, ma'am. No, it's right in the message book. No, he'll see it. That's right. Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm. No, he'll look at the book when he comes in. No, the first thing. You bet. Well, you're more than welcome. Yes, ma'am. Bye. You know these two men?
Yeah, I've seen them a couple times around the bar.
You know their names?
Well, one of them's called Jack something or other. I don't know the last part.
How about the other one?
I can't do you any good there.
You know where we can find them?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I come in here. I want to tell you what George said to me.
Yeah.
Well, he said he found out who kidnapped Ethel. Told me he was going to get him. He mentioned this Jack. Figured it was the same guy.
Where can we find him?
Well, there's a rooming house over on 7th. I can show you.
Well, let's go.
Look, there's something else, though.
What's that?
Well, I was at the bar when George called, and after I talked to him, I checked around.
Yeah.
His gun's gone.
Frank and I left the office and drove over to 7th Street. The bar boy pointed out the rooming house where he said we could find Jack and his friend. We checked with the manager and found that two men answering the description we'd gotten shared a room on the 3rd floor. We left Arnold Leffer in the car and we went up to the room.
Should be the last one.
Yeah.
Wonder if Cabot's gotten here yet.
He has. Come on. Stick it in. All right, Cabot, let him go.
I'm going to
Let him
kill
go.
her. Get him away.
All right, come on.
Please don't stop me. He's crazy. This guy's crazy.
Come on, Cabot. Take it easy now. Come on. Come on over here. Get over there.
Oh, you should keep him away from me.
Go on, move.
No.
What do you think you're going to prove doing a thing like this, Cabot?
A couple of minutes more, I wouldn't have cared.
We found your wife. She's going to be all right.
Yeah, I know.
You didn't help yourself much doing a thing like this.
He's crazy.
You shut up.
All right, now, come on. Calm down, both of you, and stand still.
All right.
How about this one?
Name's Rico Martin. Him and Jack took my wife.
They admit it?
Yeah, they said they did it to get even with me for the fight.
Well, we didn't hurt her. We just scared her a little bit, that's all.
They're right.
Well, what difference does it make? We're going to beat it anyway.
You are, huh?
Sure. All we got to do is come up with the right plea.
Yeah, you got it all figured, haven't you?
Sure, there's a lot of ways we can go.
Yeah, we got one in mind.
The story you have just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On December 14th, trial was held in Department 98, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. Jack Prescott Bischoff and Rico Blake Martin were tried and convicted of kidnapping, one count. They both received sentence as prescribed by law. Kidnapping with bodily injury is punishable by life imprisonment without possibility of parole or by death in the lethal gas chamber.
authentic story of your police force in action and starring Jack Webb, a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.